Our next song, Children, tells us that everybody ought to know who Jesus is because he's the lily of the valley. He's the bright and morning star. He's the fairest of 10,000. The Bible also says that if we don't tell others about Jesus, the rocks and the stones will cry out his name. So I hope that you will share the love of Jesus with all those you know. Okay, so I hope that you'll sing with me this lovely little song which says, everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know who Jesus is. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know who Jesus is. He's the lily of the valley. He's the bright and morning star. He's the fairest of 10,000. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know who Jesus is. On the cross he died for sinners, and his blood makes white as snow. Loving, living, coming Savior, he's the one you ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know who Jesus is. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know. Everybody ought to know who Jesus is. Take care, children, and God bless.